Welcome back, podcast fans. I'm your host, Annette Hines, and this is Parenting Impossible, a special needs survival podcast. Welcome to 2024. I am super excited to be sort of rejuvenating this podcast and revising it a bit so it continues to meet everybody's needs. Very exciting. I have really gotten such great feedback from all of you over the past year. And as you may remember, I took a hiatus year from extracurricular activities, and even the podcast slowed down a bit towards the end of the year. And my reason for doing that was to get very introspective and deep on, what services and supports am I delivering? What makes me sing? What organizations am I excited to be part of and contribute to? I can't spread myself so thin as I have been doing in the last few years. And I need to be more focused on where I can have the best impact and what really brings me joy. So the podcast is on that list, and I absolutely decided that I want to continue this podcast. I love doing it. It's going to take a little bit of a different flavor and a little bit of a different flair. And I really wanted to talk about the workforce crisis that we're having. What do I mean by workforce crisis? For those of you who don't know or who aren't sure what I'm talking about, direct support professionals, DSPs, are people that we in the disability community rely on in all aspects and phases of everyday life for a person with a disability. Some people connect with those DSPs through a day program or a residential support program. Some people connect with them through home health agencies or through finding them themselves for PCA or personal care attendant services or job coaching. So many different roles that DSPs play in our lives. So many. But most of you will know and appreciate that since the pandemic, the crisis has escalated. Before 2020, we still had difficulty recruiting people into this DSP role because, generally speaking, it's not very well paid. It usually is not full time. It doesn't usually come with benefits. And there's not a lot of respect, but we're trying to change that. However, after March of 2020, when the whole world shut down, many people left these jobs and did not come back. So in the last couple of years, we have really turned up the heat and turned our attention to this workforce crisis. Recently, there was a survey of disability service providers, and it really highlights, thank you to Disability Scoop for writing about this. It really highlights some of the problems that we're having, and I'd love to give you some information from that survey. So they surveyed 581 providers of community-based services to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And nearly all of those providers are facing staffing shortages, just like every person's life, I'm sure, who is listening to this podcast right now. So the important thing, though, is what is the impact of that? What is the outcome of these staffing shortages? And because of that, 77% of providers are refusing or no longer accepting referrals. That's 3/4, better than 3/4 of the providers that they surveyed are saying that they're not accepting new referrals or they're refusing referrals that are coming in right now. And 44% of those providers, so almost half, have discontinued certain programs and services that they offer. So we are seeing this in our community. The available resources, supports, services, and programs to our people that we care for are shrinking fast, and they're shrinking almost exponentially. I mean, the numbers tell you what's going on. 3/4 of these programs not letting new referrals come in. So their programs shrinking in who they offer services to. And half of them, nearly half of them, have discontinued certain services and programs. 60% of them say that they're considering closing more programs and services that they offer. So I wanted to mention one more thing in my update to all of you that's pandemic related. And that's that SSI, through a settlement of a court case, will be sending millions of dollars to SSI beneficiaries who have been wrongfully cut off from their benefits. In addition to that, they will be addressing overpayments as well. I have multiple people who have had overpayment issues these last couple of years. So this is a welcome change of pace with Social Security. More than 2 million SSI recipients, including many with disabilities, had their benefits reduced or discontinued during the pandemic. And so they are going to see some relief under this new settlement. SSA has agreed to automatically waive many overpayments that occurred between March and September of 2020. And the agency will refund individuals as appropriate if they have already repaid the funds. But there's also remedies available for those who had benefit overpayments as recently as April of 2023.